Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, gamers alike. Today we bring to you a spectacular performance. Three men come together for the Gamer's Grind. How are we doing today, gentlemen?
I'm fine. Quanto's fucking stupid. Being a shy guy, I know you're sweating. Do you want to hear the story about that how he got that mask, actually?
Why not? Go ahead.
Dude, Conte, tell him. I remember how you got the mask, dude. Like, you had to wait 8 million years.
Oh yeah, I had to wait like almost a whole year for this. I think I got it off Etsy. It's actually really high quality. Like I really like this because you can go on like maybe some really garbage mask on Amazon that you can get and like a really garbage like outfit. But I found everything. It even has like a little belt thing that's like it's pretty nice. I like it. But that mask was probably like $100, and I waited like multiple months for it. But when it got there, it felt good because the mask is almost like one of the most important parts of the outfit. So
Please do tell.
I don't like Quanto.
I was just saying I don't like you.
Yeah, I don't like you.
I was about to say the exact same thing. I don't like you.
All of us are trying to pose up for Halloween costumes. Quanto's the only one that would actually win out of the three of us. I come in last place. All I'm doing is wearing a purple shirt.
Absolutely.
To be fair, I've gotten so much mileage out of this. I feel like I've worn this for the past like 4 or 5 years. It's just like, yeah, I don't need anything else. This is already really good. But I'm probably not going to use it this year. I got my cowboy hat for that.
Ooh,
yeah,
okay.
you'll be Larry.
There's a snake in my boot.
Gonna get my cowboy hat, riding my F-150.
Leave me alone.
Oh Lord,
Yeah,
have mercy.
brother.
You gotta just pull up into the function and be like, let me lock them doors and turn them lights. But what is up, you guys? We are back with another Gamer's Grind episode. I believe we're 11 or 12. Y'all will know in the description. A lot has happened in the past couple of weeks. A lot has happened, both gaming and just life stuff alike. And let's hear some updates from you guys. What's been going on with you guys?
Metroid Dread is great.
I got a case of the Metroids.
Ooh, I am in love.
I bet I beat Metroid Dread like 2 weeks ago, and or a week and a half ago. I don't know, but I just after beating Dread, I was like, man, Metroid's so cool. And then I was watching reviews of different videos, like a Fusion and then like Zero Mission, and I was like, yeah, it looks like I'm gonna be playing these games, and also like Prime 2. So like
Prime 2
most likely
awesome. Yeah,
I'm probably most likely going to go on the eShop while it's still active right now. We have like 1 month left to buy any of the eShop games, by the way. So if you want anything on the eShop so you can safely have it before you pirate, you can easily just go on the eShop and purchase them while you have the chance, because soon they're...
Wait, is the Wii U eShop closing?
It's going to close in December time.
Really?
I didn't hear about that.
Yeah.
I feel like they would have made a bigger deal, or people would have made a bigger deal.
Right.
They're fixing to close it down like at the end of this year, but I'm gonna buy Zero Mission and Fusion, and also see if Prime's on there too. They probably will be.
I think I'm not sure if it is or not. Did it have GameCube games? I don't remember if it did or not.
I don't.
No. It does have the Prime trilogy, so you can get all three. Yeah.
The trilogy is like
so you can play it with the Wiimote. Yeah. Okay, that's fine then. Because when they announced Dread, I feel like I spent the better part of like this year playing Metroid, like just nonstop. Even if it was just replaying it, and I played all of the Prime games for the first time this year, and they're all really good. But I emulated them, so not that I didn't want to buy them or play them on the trilogy, but I kind of just wanted to play them like with a GameCube controller and experience them as other people did back in the day. And the controls aren't bad. And then I had to play Prime 3 with a controller, which was very strange because I had to map the motion controls to like the C stick, and it was really, really weird. But I liked it. All of them are fun. Prime 2 is probably my favorite of those.
Really?
Prime 2 is awesome.
I heard reviews told me that game isn't the best one.
See, that's what I heard. That's exactly what I heard, and I was just like, what? Because I remember like watching some Comic Johnny's like older review, and he just ripped that game to shreds. And a couple other people said they didn't like it, but now I'm seeing people love it, and I like it a lot too. It was a really fun game to go through. I was expecting like some trash game, and it was not. So,
I mean, like, dude, Metroid's been the kick. I think it's just been the kick for everybody recently, and honestly, it has been an amazing kick. I actually want to start revisiting some of the older games now that I've had my fill with Dread, and
I'm gonna say you caused me physical pain. You caused me a lot of pain. I was like, I hope he doesn't think I'm being mean in his stream.
Oh no, you're good. For those of you guys who don't know, so I actually streamed my whole run of Metroid Dread on my stream, twitch.tv/chocolate FGC. Yeah. But I streamed my whole run of that game, and Kawante, he actually was in the chat majority of those times, and let's put this in perspective. My experience with Metroid beforehand was when I was like 8 on the GameCube. I had Metroid Prime. I started up the game, moved around a bit, saw an alien, and then turned off the game. Because young Choco was baby. And at the time, I was like, I never revisited that game ever. And then after that, like, because I was both young and stupid, I'm like, well, there's other games I want to get, but I don't have money. So how do I make money to get games? Wait, games I don't play, I can sell. So let me sell those games and I get money for more games. And it made sense in my head. It kind of did. I realized long term, I regret that. So I saw Metroid Prime when I was really young, and never played a Metroid game ever since. That is until Metroid Dread. And I did not know what I was in store for. I will keep it a stack. I didn't know if I'd like it, but something about this game seemed kind of special. I'm like, you know what? Let's give it a chance. And I am so glad that I gave it a chance. I'm so glad that I gave it an opportunity to just try it out. That game, I have to try out a couple more games. There's one more game I want to like play before I make that decision.
Play Zero Mission.
No. I'm talking about like.
No, I hate you.
I'm talking about in general. I'll play Zero Mission on the side. I'll play Zero Mission on the side, not on stream. But there's like one or two other games I want to play before I make my decision. But Metroid Dread is easily one of my contenders for Game of the Year. That game
probably is. For me, it'll be between that and Mario Party. Depending on like how much mileage I get out of Mario Party, which should probably be a lot, but I'm leaning more towards Metroid just because I've done 3 runs of that game. I probably would have done more if I, just occupied with some different stuff. But that's a game like Dread. I would legitimately try speedrunning that game. That game is awesome. Just in terms of movement, that was the thing I was worried about the most because I really, really love Zero Mission's movement. And Fusion's movement is good too, but it's not like Zero Mission. And then I played like a crap ton of like Super Metroid randomizers. I mentioned that in like a previous podcast, but I was like, I really hope they don't mess this up because Samus Returns was good, but it didn't have like the coolest movement in the world, and it was kind of slower paced. But Lord have mercy, Dread was I felt like I was just in heaven when playing that game. You can do so much cool stuff. And watching speedruns of it is great too. I've been watching a lot of Oats and Goats speedruns.
Yeah, you sent me that video earlier today too. Oats and Goats is hilarious.
Yeah, he's a funny dude.
Jacked.
Yeah.
He's also kind of jacked. I'm not gonna lie, he's got that forearm. He got muscle. He got some muscles.
Fucking chiseled ass chin.
Leave me alone. But like Dread was a really good experience, and like it's a domino effect too, because like everybody is like playing more Metroid now. It's not just me that has a case of the Metroids. Apparently, in London or like the UK area, a lot of people are buying Metroid games online via the eShop, and also like through the 3DS as well, buying Metroid, buying like Samus Returns or whatever for the remake or whatever. They're doing that remake. They're buying all the games on the eShop and stuff like that, whatever they have the opportunity to, and it's nice and encouraging to see that fans are like, or like new people in general, the series is just like, wow, I really want to play this game. Because like me personally, like I said before, I've only played Other M and Super Metroid, and I beat Other M before I played Super Metroid. So I didn't really constantly grasp the whole, this game sucks because it's way too hand-holdy and linear. It was just like, this is actually pretty decently par game. I thought it was okay when I was a kid.
No, I felt that way too. That was actually my introduction, my full introduction. I think my childhood friend had Fusion, and I played like a couple minutes of it, but I never like borrowed it from a roommate or anything. But Other M was like my very first Metroid game of my own. And I think the only reason I got it is because my uncle kept making fun of me, and he was just like, oh man, you keep playing those Nintendo games, they don't have anything like shooters on there or anything. And then, of course, they're showing Metroid, and I see Samus just whipping aliens around and shooting them, and I was just like, you know what, I'm going to prove you wrong, I'm getting this game. And I bought Other M, and to me back then it was fine, but going back and trying to play it now, I want to destroy everything when I play that game now. Like Samus talks in that game, she talks a lot, but it's not the fact that she's talking. She sounds like a robot. Like, just sounds like the person is like really bored reading their lines. No offense to the voice actor, I'm sure the voice actor is just like great person and everything, but that the Samus was not okay. It made me very upset
because they tried. I feel like they were. It's like as a story-driven game, they really fucking mauled that character. Samus is the silent protagonist because the silent protagonist trope for all Nintendo characters. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. She's quiet because she's a fucking bounty hunter and also a woman. So like, if I was a guy and I was like, yeah, you know what? Let's make the main character a woman. This won't have any repercussions at all in the future. Fuck, I really don't want her to talk at all. And like when you make a story-driven based game and like stuff like that, you know what I mean? And give her lines, it seems that to me, like in general, when people were complaining about the most is that it just seemed that Samus was just being like, it wasn't like, what was it called? It was very sexist, quote unquote.
Yeah, it was like misogynistic, like borderline misogynistic, because it's why is she like this in this game? Yeah. It's like,
you don't move unless I say so. You don't fire unless I say so.
Yeah,
Adam Malkovich, you dickhead. You weren't like that in the fucking manga, dude.
Fusion or anything. That's why, like, when you were streaming, you were just like, man, I love Adam, and I was just like, nobody likes Adam. I was like, you never played a Metroid game.
I've never played
Adam is an asshole.
I wouldn't have known.
Adam is a dickhead in the game, though. He's not a dickhead in the manga, which is canon. But
it's like all my homies hate Adam. It's like if you play Other M, Adam is the biggest. Like, you know how every game Samus, she has to lose her powers some way. They gave it a name now. They called it like ability amnesia, which I think is hilarious. But in Other M, the reasoning for her losing her powers is because Adam tells her not to use them. So you have everything from the start. Like, Samus has it all, but then he's just like, yeah, you see that you're in the fire area. Don't activate your Various suit until I tell you to. So you literally have to play the game going through the fire area, burning alive, and then you're fighting a fire boss, and then Adam's just like, Samus, activate your Various suit. It protects against heat. And then it's just like, what the fuck? It's like, why don't you just activate the various suit? And then there's
right
a
there,
part,
then yeah.
yeah, and then there's a part in the game where like you think Adam is like a traitor, and then Samus just activates. I think it was like the space jump without Adam's authorization, and then she's like, "Any objections, Adam?" And then of course you're just like, "Man, that's a great moment in the game, but does that need to be in the game?" It's
Right.
like she should just be using everything from the start.
Exactly, or just not have that in general. Like if she,
Absolutely.
like, the game would have been a lot more capitalizing because, like, it's just like, oh, it's the Galactic Federation. Adam Malkovich is the lead, is the fucking general of the entire Galactic Federation, the general of the whole Galactic Federation. So he's an air of authority. You know, you want him to have an air of respect, but there's a different way of doing it. If Samus had all of her shit to begin with to go through everything. You know how fucking great that would have, if a different of a game that would have been for you to be
She
able
would
to
have destroyed
everywhere?
everything. Yeah,
Yeah, but at the same time, it would have probably given you a new experience with exploring different areas that you could go back to. It creates some kind of like progression tool where like, hey, there's Ridley, you gotta kill Ridley. Oh, there's Baby Kraid. You gotta kill Baby Kraid. But he's somewhere in the lava area. You don't know where he is unless you kill Ridley. And he's like, oh, my body, Kraid's save me. You know, it's just that they had an opportunity to do it, but they fucked it up. And then the story was bad. And then they killed the black guy, but the black guy came back to life.
Yeah, I thought that was so funny. I was like, "There's a black guy in this game," and then
He was the first character that spoke out of the entire group. It's like, oh, what's up, princess? Remember me?
remember me? And then I was just like, "No, like, who are you?"
Who the
And
fuck
then-
are you?
Apparently, like Samus is friends with this like jacked black dude, and I was like, "Oh, that's cool." And then I saw him die, and I was like, "Man, I knew they were gonna kill the black guy." And then he comes back and is like, ironically, the only one who survives out of everybody. Like even Adam dies. That's why he's a AI. They didn't even feel bad in that. They tried to do like some noble sacrifice thing where Adam like blows up in the ship or something. And then he didn't even need to do that. Samus was like, I can take care of it. He's like, nah, and he just blows up. It's like, this game kind of sucks, or at least story-wise.
Yeah.
The most tragic part of it is that I don't think they'll ever try like a traditional 3D platformer Metroid again, which makes me sad, because I feel like that could work really well. I don't have a problem with Prime, but I feel like Other M had something going where it could have been good, but no.
Nope.
They're probably never going to try it again. So, I don't know. I'm sorry about that. Other M just makes me very upset.
No, I understand. I get it. Like, listen, I may not have played the game myself, but I can tell from what you guys described, like some of the problems. I think one thing you guys brought up was how like Samus's voice, and I think that's definitely an issue of, well, because they've established Samus as a silent protagonist and as a bounty hunter, then to introduce a voice, everybody would have this kind of idea or this kind of like thought expectation for what Samus with a voice would be like, and to what it sounds, it sounds like it doesn't meet that expectation. They tried to go the same route of every game where you lose all your abilities for some reason you lose all your abilities at the beginning of the game. They tried to give some kind of justification, but the justification was just kind of dumb. Like it didn't make any sense. Like in a game like Fusion, which even though I didn't play the game, I know a little bit of the lore. Game like Fusion, like they had to remove her suit. They had to remove her suit, and she got like a new suit. So I can understand, like, that makes sense as to why she lost her abilities. Even in Dread, like, well, actually, in Dread,
She got the piss knocked out.
yeah,
It makes the piss knocked out. That makes sense.
The way I look at it, well, I'm gonna say, or I guess we should say, because I'm assuming we're gonna talk about it, but just put out like full spoiler warning.
Spoiler warning. We won't
give you a few seconds.
We will try not to spoil anything too heavy, but if a spoiler comes, we do want to let you guys know. All right.
Well, I kind of feel like I was gonna say, I feel like it's kind of impossible not to talk about.
Oh God.
Like, no,
yeah, because so let's do this instead. Hey, skip to this time frame right here. I'll be between my fingies. AJ, you gotta edit that.
Oh gosh.
Spoilers. All right, go ahead.
But I think Ravenbeak just took everything and hid it everywhere. I mean, that's the only logical conclusion, because he set up everything. He wants Samus to go and fight everything so she can, like, awaken her DNA. So it would only make sense that he just kind of took all of her things and, spread them out all over the planet.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That's the way I look at it.
See if you're worthy. Yes, you've turned into a Metroid. There's no reason for me to clone Metroids anymore. I can clone you!
The strongest Metroid of all!
I was just like, oh my gosh. Like, did we know that Ravenbeak was the big bad? What it was going to do that? Did we know? Did we expect that? I didn't.
I was thinking to myself, like, as like Samus is like getting these sporadic moments in her hand, like towards the end of the game, and then like she's fighting like one of the Chosen Warriors, and she like puts her palm in his hand, and then she's like sucking the life out of him. I'm like, oh no, Samus is becoming a Metroid.
Yeah.
Oh, I mean, it's in the right hand, so realistically, it's not a problem. And then as I'm fighting Ravenbeak, and Ravenbeak beats a dog shot of her at the end of the fight, he's like, I don't need to clone Metroids anymore. There's no reason to me. It's obsolete. Because I can code the most powerful Metroid in the world, Samus Aran. I was like, dude. And then, like, what bothers me the most, like, it doesn't bother me, but, like, it's, like, read the comic or the manga if you get the chance to, because it's technically canon. Right. But Ravenbeak is also responsible for the DNA towards Samus. And there were two characters in the manga. What was it? It was Old Bird.
It was Old Bird and Grey Voice.
And Grey Voice.
Yeah, so she has... Grey Voice gave her the DNA that gives her the Mockin DNA. So that's like the DNA like of the Chozo that can control the Metroids.
Yes.
And then Ravenbeak gave her the the Mockin is Ravenbird. And then the Thoha is Old Bird. So Old Bird's DNA is what she's using to control the Metroid or Metroid DNA. And then she gets like her physical prowess from Ravenbeak.
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah. Technically, Ravenbeak is responsible for Samus being such a powerful bounty hunter. It's also kind of like a plot twist too. If you weren't a part of the series, like you wouldn't know, but it's a big like reveal that, oh my god, that's Dad. All right, we gotta kill you now because you're actually a threat to the galaxy. Even though his ideology is probably different, it's because the Chosen people weren't realistically bad.
They were. The Mockin were.
The Mockin were dickheads. No, they were dickheads, but they also wanted peace in the galaxy. But they were just like, we are the warrior tribe. I want the Echidna, like the Echidna tribe from Sonic Adventure. Power is absolute.
That's actually what he kept saying. He kept saying power is everything, and apparently like the little drapes that he has over his little pauldrons, they translate the power is everything in like the Chozo language. So like that's his thing.
Raw. That's so raw.
Did you know, Choco, by the way, Choco, did you know that Chozos can't fly? They don't have wings.
Yeah, that's why I thought that was so funny.
Okay,
I want you to tell them what happened.
Okay, so like I said, I don't have a background in Metroid at all. When I was streaming, I would always advertise. I'd always advertise it on Twitter with some kind of like GIF of like just Metroid or with like Metroid Dread. Well, I would always put like a different GIF because I don't want to put the same one I put. So on like the second to last stream where I was going at it, I put out a GIF of Ravenbeak like opening his wings, getting ready to fight. But I thought to myself, I'm like, oh, this is just like a normal thing. This is kind of expected. He's a bird, bro. He's a bird. He's gonna have wings. And then I find out. Dr. Kawante tells me in the middle of my chat. He says, "Hey, so you know how you posted Ravenbeak with the wings? Yeah, that was a huge spoiler." And I'm just like, "What, dude?" Yeah. So I ended up spoiling the fact that Ravenbeak is a Chozo with wings.
Well, I didn't want to spoil it for you because I thought about it. I was like, should I tell him? Because I was like, there's no way that he like knows that was a part of the final boss. But at the same time, it's just like I'm not gonna say anything until he beats the game. I just thought it was so funny because that moment when he grew wings, I literally had to like press the home button on the game and absorb what just happened because I was just like, Like there were so many moments in the game that did that. Because my favorite part about Dread is that it's a game that celebrates. It feels like the whole entire franchise, and does so much fan service without doing like a bunch of callbacks. Like everything that they do is Crade, shut up. But everything else is just like pure fan service, but it's all new. It's like Ravenbeak sprouting wings. Like I immediately thought back to like the manga because Samus is like a 3-year-old or something, and she meets a Chozo for the first time. She's talking to Old Bird, and she's like, "Oh, you're birds. Where are your wings?" Or like, "Why can't you fly?" And then Old Bird's like, "Oh, we don't fly," or whatever. And then so when I saw Ravenbeak grow his wings, I was just like, "Oh shit!" And then he did the thing where he just like rips one of them off.
He ripped the dude. Ravenbeak is so raw, so raw.
Like, good lord, man.
He's a really good character.
It's crazy to me because like Ravenbeak actually had like such little like showtime throughout the whole game, but you understand like like once you have the meeting with the old Chozo, you're like Ravenbeak is this like being that you are not prepared to fight. Even from the beginning of the game when you first meet him, you're like his presence is felt like from the beginning of the game all the way through the end. And I think that's a very good character. That's a very good character where like he's living in your head rent free and you're not even actually seeing him. And obviously once you like understand like his true motives, then Adam, which like of course we all know at this point was Ravenbeak like posing as him, or I don't know if it was throughout the whole game that he was doing that, but let's assume so. Adam, every time you got to a new area where you would speak with Adam, you touch base with him, think about what the next objective is. He would say, "You are not ready to fight Ravenbeak. You are not ready to fight Ravenbeak." No, even with your new suit, with all these power-ups, you're not ready to fight him. So like that's really a really cool concept to me. Thinking that like, oh well, this enemy is like so far above you that you're not, no matter what you do, you are not ready to fight him. And to be fair, like in that fight the first couple of times is kind of hard.
No, I got smacked.
I got my shit.
It's kind of
but
hard.
Like, even related to what you just said, because that's like a theory people have, because at first I just thought that when you get to the end and she blasts the computer open and it's Ravenbeak speaking, I thought that was like the only time that he was posing as Adam. But then I saw some other people saying that maybe it was him doing it throughout the whole game, because there is a part where she like, sort of loses Adam or something, like, transmission with him. But then it's like you said, it's like if it was Ravenbeak posing as Adam through the whole game, it would make sense to why he would be like, "You cannot defeat Ravenbeak even with this power," or he's like directing her to go where to go specifically because he wants her to fight like this thing here, that thing there, and he's gassing himself up until you finally get to him, and then he finally fights you. So I thought like, yeah, if he's posing as Adam through the whole game, that would be pretty cool because then his presence is there.
His presence is the entire game, dude. Because like I said before, like you said before, like you hear from the entire game. But like I like to call it like the Bayonetta complex, like the Bayonetta complex theory or whatever. Like Bayonetta did this with Jubileus, right? Where every single boss talks about Jubileus in a sense. You don't even know who this Jubileus person is. Same thing, Breath of the Wild did the same thing too. I talk about Calamity again, but the difference is that you can see the Calamity from Hyrule Castle.
Yeah,
you see Ravenbeak once in the beginning of the game, and throughout the game, Adam is just telling you, hey, or like Ravenbeak is just telling you, hey man, like listen, you're hot shit. Good, congratulations for beating that enemy. However, you're stupid, and I don't think like you know what I mean. And the entire time in the game, you're getting stronger. And that's what I like about that too. It's like a Mega Man X kind of vibe. Where over the course of the time period, like you get stronger, you get more weapons. Because in the beginning of the game, the game does kind of beat the dog shit out of you, especially if you're new. But
I would know.
As you get more weapons and you get more abilities, you get stronger. Enemies go down easier and stuff like that. You feel more powerful, but the game still tells you cannot beat the final boss. even when you get up to Raven Beak and when you fight him, it took me a whole day. I'm not even gonna lie, dude. I'm not gonna lie. I sat down for 5 hours straight fighting Raven Beak. Storm Missile wasn't working for me properly because I suck, and Raven Beak was beating the piss out of me. I got so mad. I was just like, yeah, I'll come back tomorrow. And then one day I came in, took him out easily, and then it was just like, wow, finally a video game challenge for me. He's tough. He's tough, especially for like those that like. I had everything, 100% of the game. I had everything, and I was still dying. Full E tanks, full missiles, everything. I had everything, and still, dude, you're stupid.
No, he does so much damage. Like
he does so much damage.
The funny part about it is, especially with Ravenbeak or all the bosses in the game, is so funny because it's like you just can get mollywopped, and then something is just like. And then all of a sudden, you just beat the boss in like a minute. And then you're just like, oh, yeah. And I love that about the game because it makes you feel so powerful. Because I think the first time that happened is when I fought Kraid. Because Kraid wasn't hard, but like I think I died once, and I was just like, "What?"
Kraid. This is thing that Kraid does, right? Where like in the second phase, we're just like, "Oh yes, I'll use my belly as a projectile," and shoots up the thorns to his stomach. And
my god!
So like you can swipe one of his attacks when you like shooting in the air and get the sequence, but then he'll get pissed. He'll get real close, roar into the screen, and some characters that you like before they attack, they animate or they flash or whatever. Kraid has this move where he roars into the screen, leans back and punches his touch.
But it's so quick too.
It does 250 damage, and I died, bro.
I love that move because he is so mad. I love it. That animation is like.
Oh my god!
And he has 2 fingers. That makes it funnier.
Kraid was so mad. He's tired of the shit. I was like, "Oh my god!" Kraid punched the fuck out of me, and I died.
Yes,
and then like you can sequence break too. You know what I mean? You can sequence break and get the power bomb.
You just get a regular bomb early, and you can
like regular bomb. Yeah,
you can like shoot into his stomach and just blow him up like really quickly. And that's intentional. I love that. It doesn't save time. I think in the speedrun they said that was slower. But just the fact that it's there is just cool that you can do that. And there's a lot of sequence breaks in the game. I'm really happy with it. It's like Super Metroid levels of just like being able to do cool stuff. I wish that game had a randomizer. I don't know how that would work because I was like, wouldn't it be cool if you could just randomize the Emmys? Like, oh man, you can just do speed booster Emmy first. So, that sounds terrible, but
that does.
I mean, it'd be cool.
Like
also.
Oh, well, go ahead.
Oh, no, I was just going to say, speaking of the Emmys, because I didn't realize this, but when you beat the game, you get artwork. And I looked at the artwork because you know how the first Emmy is just destroyed?
Yeah.
They don't tell you. And you're just like, why is this Emmy broken? But then they show a picture of Ravenbeak standing over just an Emmy that's destroyed, and he did that. And I think he just destroyed it. Like, that's how powerful he is.
He does that with the flex. What the heck?
Yeah, it's like you're running away from these things the whole game, and he just destroyed it. And then he's like, "All right, these are mine now."
No, I mean, like, I know exactly what you mean about the ability of feeling powerful. Now, keep in mind, like, I guess the closest game I've played as of recent to like Metroid has been a Hollow Knight, where you just got like, a lot of movement, a lot of pattern recognitions, a lot of like over time you just get faster and faster with the movement. So like I felt really comfortable. Like technically I felt really comfortable with like a lot of the boss fights, and like what I absolutely enjoyed about the game was feeling my ability to play just progress throughout the whole game. Where I like the first day I'm just like I'm barely able to like aim properly while holding L, because it's a little bit of a learning curve to do that. And then all of a sudden, like I remember yesterday when I was fighting Ravenbeak, I was sliding under him, jumping, then aiming the missile up at him, and I'm just like, dude, I'm so like that progression felt really good. Um, Ravenbeak. I think it took me an hour. I think.
I think it took me about an hour too.
Yeah.
I don't like either of you.
I mean, I felt bad because I died a lot, but I don't think it took me more than an hour to beat Ravenbeak.
It took me a day, bro. Like I sat down, I legitimately booted up the game, booted up the game before I went to work, and it was 12 o'clock, and it was 3, and I was like, "There's no fucking way I'm fighting Ravenbeak for 3 hours." I was getting pissed.
No,
it wasn't the part of the boss fight that really got me. It wasn't like the first 2 phases. It was when he threw out the sun, and I didn't know that.
Yes, the sun. You could power bomb it. I didn't know you could do that.
I didn't know you could power bomb it until I watched the speed run, and then somebody in the speed run chat was like, "You can power bomb the sun." I was like, "What?" I was like, I was sitting there like playing Toho and Metroid, like.
So it was funny. I mean, one person in the chat actually told me on one of my runs, but the second run that I played against Ravenbeak, I messed up like the input, because I don't know why when it comes to going into the morph ball, I suck at it. So like I just missed my opportunity. I'm like, you know what, fuck it, I'll just go around it. I'll deal with it. So it didn't really make a difference. But like, I don't know. It was just like the boss ended up. Like, the first phase of the boss is not too bad. It's not too bad. You kind of just, like, you just got to know when to parry, know when he's going to... If you get that timing down for when he, like, slashes after he does, like, that big beam.
The little screen nuke thing.
Yeah. If you get that timing down packed, then, like, you can avoid a lot of hits. And then phase 2, the hardest part...
We're talking about that big, giant laser thing in phase 1?
Yeah, where it goes like all around.
Yeah, it goes like around, and you have to like move. You have to move out of the way, or you'll take residual damage.
Basically, just go right beside him, and then when you do, he'll do like the 3 like slash thing or whatever.
Yeah.
You just jump out. Well, I usually would just I just dash out of the way.
Okay, I thought you could parry those. I was about to say, you could parry those.
No, but you can parry, like, you know when he turns red and he just goes across the screen really fast? You can apparently parry that.
Yeah, I didn't know that until, like, legitimately, I had, like, 3 hours in, and I was like, I could parry that.
Yeah.
Because he flashed so quick. Imagine him mixing up his timing.
Well, that's what I wish they did in hard mode. Like, hard mode only changes, like, your damage scaling, but if they did stuff like that where it, like, changes up the timing and actually changes the boss fights a bit, I think it would have been a really cool thing. But the only thing that it happens is that you just take more damage, and that's pretty much what hard mode is. So I mean, it's worth it. Like, it was worth it for me because on my hard mode run, that was when I 100%ed. But like, just as if you've already 100%ed, I don't really think hard mode is like that worth it, other than to just say you did it or just to get like the artwork for it, I guess. But
no, I feel that. Other than that, exploring, it was a little bit of a chore. It was a little. It took me a long time to figure out what I was doing with like pathing, like selecting my path, especially when I think after I had gotten, oh my god, I had beaten like the last Emmy, and I needed to find where to go next. That was probably the hardest portion for me, because it was a lot of like, okay, I'm looking at the map. This area, I think I'm missing things in this area. How do I get here? And I would get lost a couple times, but like that in itself just felt really good. It felt so rewarding. Every little thing you did in the game felt extremely rewarding to do. When you avoided an enemy, you felt good about it. I have a lot of pop-offs from when I either dodged an enemy or I parried an enemy. Cause
I was gonna say, you just really good at guessing, because that's literally what that is. It's like, man, you guessed correctly.
Well, okay, so the first parry timing, you can for the first parry you can kind of like not 100%, but you can kind of time that one. The second,
I don't think you can. Like even watching speedrunners, it's just like, they're like, oh, how are you parrying in that? And then half the time the dude's just like, oh, I guessed. Like, it's literally unreactable for like humans. Like, you can't time that the same way every single time.
No, you can't time it the same way every single time. But like I'm just saying, like there's some times where it feels like, oh, I just timed this properly, but then for the second parry, that is completely variable. That one is completely variable, and I'm just like, you cannot hit that. I think I hit the second parry once, and that was the best. I felt like God, but avoiding the Emmys felt so rewarding. When you finally found a new area, that was always a good feel. After going in circles multiple times, you're like, wait, if I blow this up, maybe, and it ends up being the right way. You're just like, yes.
I hate you.
Shut up.
No, you want to know why? Because you'd be like, man, I'm lost, and I'm just like, it would bring something up in me because I'm just like, look at the floor. It's like you could just shoot the floor. That's all I want you to do. It was like that last night when the escape sequence. You went in the same room like 3 times, and you're like, where do I go? Floor is literally like it looks completely different, and I'm just like, shoot the floor.
Okay, to be fair, there was the only reason why I shouldn't have lost the escape sequence. The only reason why I died at the escape sequence is because it's just like I don't know where to go. But there was one thing I had to blow up, and I'm like, oh, it took me forever to realize.
Yeah, the floor. But you already wasted so much time. Like the thing about that game, which is super weird, is that it's not weird. But they telegraph like when you can shoot something and then it'll like break. So like the floor that you had to shoot looked slightly different than the rest of it. But you were just like, I don't know if you were in a panic or I don't know. It's so funny watching you play video games because something about you just like turns off. Like I don't know what it is. So you'll just like your attention span gets hyper focused on one thing and then nothing else matters. And it's super weird. It's like, I don't know how to really explain it. Happens when you play Smash, too.
Really? What do you mean?
Yeah. Like, during your, it's like, your Metafy session I was watching, and you were just, like, explaining stuff, and then you just got lost beating up the, like, training dummy, and I was just started laughing. You just flexing on the Lucario CPU. Like, you stopped talking just to do that, and then you started talking again. I was just like, man, this guy...
Yeah, when it comes to multitasking, I definitely do struggle with that a bit. But like, it was just one of those things where it's like, okay, I gotta get out of this place, but I gotta figure out where to go. But I'm like, oh wait, and then I also didn't realize that you could just hold the
laser,
the laser, because like I'm just like, oh, I have to like stop and aim and stuff like that. And if I wanted to shoot downwards, like it was probably faster to just shoot. And then there were times where I like I said, for some reason I'm so bad at like going to the morph ball. So like I would like press it. I'm like, wait, why am I not going to the morph ball? So I'm just little things like that. But all in all, everything just felt so good about that game. That game was, it's so good. I definitely have to replay it again. Go for it 100% because I didn't go for it the first time. I just wanted to go through and enjoy the story, enjoy what the game had to offer me. And all in all, like, I love the game, man. Samus is an insane character. The one thing, and it's not even like a bad thing. It's like, this game was already like an 11 out of 10. This game to me would be like a 12 out of 10 if they did this. I get that Samus is a silent protagonist, and I'm aware of that. And we did hear her voice for only one time, and it was an amazing moment.
Did you hear her scream? I heard her scream.
Her scream too.
That was anime.
Her scream was pure like anger, and I loved it. But the one thing I would have loved is in those cutscenes where she's hiding from the Emmy a couple times. I would have loved if they added in just a little touch of her, like, kind of like, so like, she's very stoic the way she goes about everything. She's very, very stoic, very like, hey, I'm gonna shoot whatever comes at me. But to have this enemy that you really can't destroy it unless you access some power that like you don't even understand yourself. I would have really liked it if they added in like, you know, like little subtle things like her deep breathing after avoiding an enemy, like
they can hear you breathe.
Like
I don't think she would do that.
Oh, if they can hear you breathe, then that's
yeah.
Oh, if they can hear you breathe, then never mind. But like,
Sam's holding her breath.
but you know, like something like that would add like a little bit to the ambiance. It's not something important, but that would be so cool because like it's the first time you fight. It's one of the times when you're fighting an enemy that you literally cannot beat. And like for Samus, this amazing, cool ass bounty hunter, to feel like she can't beat something, I think that's a cool concept. I don't know. It's just a little touch. A little touch.
I lost my shit when she spoke. I'm not gonna lie, like that. I think it almost made me cry. Like I'm not even gonna. It hit me that hard because she was just standing there, and like Quiet Robe was just talking, and then she just stares at the camera for like a good 5 seconds, and I was just like, "Well, Samus doesn't speak." And then she spoke, and then I just like I just started losing it. Just like what? And then she was speaking in like the Chozo language.
Yeah. I was very surprised when she spoke.
It was already.
It was like, is that you?
Yeah, it was hitting me hard too because it was playing Laura Brinstar from Super Metroid.
Hey.
So I was already just like, oh my gosh, like I was getting all this like lore and everything, and just oh man, that was like a good moment in the game.
No, absolutely. Yeah. I think that was actually like that was definitely one of the coolest moments in the game because like at the end of the day, she doesn't speak. All her thing is that like it was as if the old Chozo gave her her mission, and she said, "I'm on it. I'm here for business. He will be dealt with." And that shit was raw.
Yeah,
that moment was raw. Damn. She didn't say anything else the whole game, but that moment was like a peak moment because at that point you've established who the big bad is. You've established like what your goal is. You know what you need to do. So now you're shifting focus, and I can go on and on. This game was fucking incredible.
No, she spoke more with her body language this whole game.
Yes,
like if anything came toward, like point the gun at it. It's like, have you ever seen that terminal montage Super Metroid video? It's hilarious where Samus is walking toward Ridley, and for some reason she gets her whole arm in it, and she just rolls it up like it's
Dude, if I was just like watching that shit happen and I saw her fucking pull up, I was like, yeah, I gotta go.
Yeah, that was Samus the whole game. It was just like Samus was tired of everybody's shit. Like Kraid just shoots the whole like thing at her out of his stomach, and then she just goes like that, like real quick, and I was just like, man, Samus is cool. Like, I don't know,
she's
really
she's
really one of the coolest video game characters that exists. I love Samus so much.
And can we talk about the final fight when she's about to die to Ravenbeak, and then pure rage comes out, and she just says, "I'm taking your life force. It's mine. Nobody else's. It is mine.
It is mine."
And she just her anger destroys the plane.
It was pure anime. It was like a Dragon Ball moment. Screen.
She fucking turned into the Super Metroid, and now her hunger is insatiable. She has to eat everything consistently.
She just sucked the energy out of the whole ship, and it crashed.
Yeah.
It was great. That's a good game. Like I was not expecting that. Like I was expecting the game to be good, but like I wasn't expecting it to be that good. Like I don't know. That's a good game.
That was a game where they put like I appreciate it when like it feels like they put a lot of love and care and time into that game, and that's just a good ass feeling. That's definitely a contender for my game of the year.
I think that's my favorite suit that she's ever had too.
Oh, I agree.
Just like all of them. Like the blue one is probably my favorite, just because I honestly don't know why, because I'm used to seeing her orange, but like the blue, it looks real sick, and the gravity suit too. I don't know, everything about the way she looks in that game is really cool.
I think the
So
white accents like complement it a lot, and it
yeah,
just and then like the way that the suit looks, it's very reminiscent of like Fusion, where it looks like it's a part of her body and stuff like that.
it's all organic. Yeah,
Yeah, so that's why like those were just very nice touches, and I think that's something that like over time, because I've seen a little bit of like the other games, over time like the suit has kind of just gone like just made this huge like transformation. Before it used to look some helmet and a suit she wears, but now
big shoulder pads,
big
bigger than
shoulder
her head.
pads. But like now it looks like it is a suit designed only for her. There's a reason as to why its design changes like this, and there's just so much to it, man. I could spend hours talking about Metroid.
Now
Dread.
play other Metroid games.
Don't hit me with that.
I have other games I need to play first, but that is definitely on the radar. Metroid is a series that is in my radar now.
And don't compare it to Hollow Knight again.
It's kind of the same genre.
Grandpa, that's Grandpa.
Not the same.
That's Grandpa. It's
I
not
know.
the same.
I know.
That's
Metro.
Grandpa.
I know. Metroid is Grandpa. Relax. Don't look at me like that. Stop.
No, I actually understand now, just speaking of Hollow Knight, why it didn't jive with me that much. I know a lot of people love it, but like with me, you know how you're talking about like Samus gets stronger and you get all these items and everything sort of scales with you? Hollow Knight does not have that. Like there's nothing like, okay, they have it in the form of like the badges or whatever like that you can equip, but that's it. And those are easily missable. Like you have to have money to pay for them, because I remember I was talking to my friend about it, and I was like, man, the dash kind of sucks, because I was playing it. I was like, you can't, not really spam it, but you have like a cooldown afterwards. And he was like, oh yeah, there's a badge that you can get that just makes it faster. And I was like, what the hell? I was like,
So wait. So did you end up beating the game?
no, because
Okay.
I can never get into it. It's just large. And because it's so large, it just doesn't feel rewarding to explore, because you're not really getting too much that makes you feel stronger. Like the only thing you get is the nail, and then that's really the only thing you have. And so I couldn't really get into it the way I wanted to.
There's much more to it that I think like as you go to the game. The thing is like that's a game you have to like once you play from start to finish, you'll see, because as you go through the game, you get upgrades to all of your abilities, not just badges. Not just badges. There are legit upgrades to your abilities, and like some of them are effective, but some of them are just more movement abilities. And I think once you've incorporated all your movement abilities together, like it is very cohesive. I think it's very cohesive. I think it all comes together very nicely. But I do understand if it shouldn't. I do understand that not everybody can jive with that, because like Samus, the difference with Samus, even though it felt difficult for me to get accustomed to things, it's mainly because I'm a new player, not so much that it's like a difficult to maneuver. You can feel powerful very early on with the game, and obviously as you progress through the game, you get more and more powerful. With Hollow Knight, the difference I would say is you start off feeling very clunky, but as you progress through the game, you get all these new options to like go about things. So then it feels more fluid. So it can definitely just be that initial impression being like turning you off, and I can't really fault you for that. And I can't really fault you for that there.
It's the way the games are designed. So it's like with Dread, each and every one of the powers were like catered towards combat and movement. So I guess the main thing would be like the dash. I'll just call it that because I'm blanking on what it's called right now. But you can use it to like get out of the way of enemy attacks, but you can also use it to go faster as like a movement option. And then, of course, Hollow Knight has something like that too, exact same utility, but it's just not, it doesn't feel as good. And I feel like a lot more of Hollow Knight stuff is more catered towards the combat, because that's what you're doing a lot in that game, is you're fighting stuff.
Yeah.
And the exploration is just kind of to me it feels secondary. It's like, you know, the boss fights are awesome in that game, and I do like the combat and how smooth everything feels. But I did not like exploring in that game whatsoever, especially since I didn't feel rewarded for like beating bosses or anything. Because half the time you don't get anything. It's like you get a piece of lore, and it's really cryptic, and then I'm just like, I have no idea what this means. But I beat a boss, and I guess like in the moment, you know, overcoming that boss feels great. But I'm just like, man, you know, I kind of just fought this thing for no reason. It's just stuff like that. Like, I'm not, by any means, I'm not calling Hollow Knight a bad game at all.
No,
I
by
think
no
it's
means.
great, and it looks great. It has good atmosphere, but like, in terms of it being a Metroid like game, I don't think it succeeds that
It,
well.
it's
But that's just me.
I feel like I probably wouldn't, like they're like in that same bubble, but I don't know if I'd call them the same genre or anything. I don't know.
No, it definitely is 100%. It's like
Yeah,
that is a Metroidvania, and the worst thing that it does is the map, because you don't fill out the map as you go. It's like, especially in stuff like Castlevania, it's like you go on that tile of the map, it fills out whenever you look at it. But in Hollow Knight, you have to go to a bench, and then it fills out, and then I don't even think you can see where you are on the map until you buy the compass, and then you have to take a batch slot for that. And I don't like that either, because it just, I don't know, there's just so many like little things that are just like, seems like nitpicks, but it kind of all adds up to it not being as cohesive of an experience for me personally.
uh, I mean, then again, at the end of the day, it's all personal preference when it comes to that point. I think
Yeah.
the main thing that drew me into Hollow Knight was one, because you're kind of just like you're kind of thrown into this game. Yes, there's a lore behind it, and it can get very deep. It can get like Dark Souls level deep, but it's also like Dark Souls level of like clear, where
Yeah.
you're
Combat. Yeah.
no. I mean, like your dark. It's when it comes to like at least the story in general. It's Dark Souls level of clear. Like you can only understand the story if you go out of your way to understand the story.
Yeah.
It's not going to be clear to you if you like just trying to like go in and just tune out. It may not just be like make sense to you like that. I thought it was a very cool concept because you know all the enemies are they're insects, and it shows like this whole all of Hollowness is just like is this huge interconnected world where like some areas you can't access, but as you get more and more abilities, it all just comes together, and it's like it's a very cool. I think that's very cool. I did like the more I did like the more combat focused like gameplay because it always felt like there's always more of always a challenge that I had to be prepared for. I can agree with exploration. Exploration does feel pretty secondary. It does feel pretty secondary to some extent because like if you would like to like you know really invest into your abilities, then yeah, you need to explore it. If you want to find the grubbins, you need to explore it. But it's not necessarily. Well, I won't say it's not important because like if you want to actually beat the story, you have to really explore this. You have to
Yeah,
explore this world.
that's sort of what I mean though. That's sort of like where the problem comes in, because it's like it shouldn't like not be important, because it's a big game. That's the whole reason I said that, is like Hollow Knight is probably the longest Metroidvania that I played, and I haven't even beaten it. It's like I
Yeah.
feel like, you know, there's so many areas, and there's a lot of areas that you have to go to. It's just like it's just there. You can get lost and just explore and do whatever, but like at least if I'm gonna go to an area like that, like let's say I go to a super hard area, like what is it, like the Deep Nest? What was that? What it was called? It's like I don't even know if you get anything, so don't quote me on that. It's just like, but let's say you don't get something, just hypothetically, then it's like, well, why did I go through that? It's
Yeah.
just like something like that, and that's how I felt a lot of the time when I played that game. I would like, sure enough, I can find a shop and I can buy cool things, but like a lot of those shops are so easy to miss that it's easy for me to just say, hey, this game sucks because this isn't in it, and then somebody will be like, oh, but that is in it, and it's just like, well, why didn't they just, I don't know, like have it to where I could find it? I don't know. It's a super weird game. I don't even feel like it's that polarizing. Like I know a lot of people like it. I'm just really particular. I guess I could just say that.
Maybe. But all in all, like both games like they hit a spot for me that really hasn't been hit when it comes to games. When it comes to most games, I'm not one to like really explore. I'm not one to like play like too many difficult games. And both games really like felt like it tested my patience. It tested my like knowledge of like how do I figure out where do I need to go. And like yes, there were people in chat helping me out, but like there was a lot of instances where I'm just like, I gotta find a new opportunity to like I gotta find a new way to go about getting here and stuff and such. And like not many games as of recent have been like challenging me like that. So it felt really refreshing. Damn, that game was so good. I can't get over it. I cannot get over it.
Well, what do you keep talking about playing? You said I gotta play some other stuff first. What does that mean? I know Arise is probably one of them for sure because you wouldn't stop talking about that game when it came out, and now I haven't seen you see anything about it for a while.
I have been very silent when it comes to Arise simply because with the very hectic schedule that I boast, it gets hard to like put time into a game. Because like a game like Arise, when it comes, so Hollow Knight and Metroid, they're very easy games to just pick up, play for a little bit, and I can still feel very satisfied with what I did. I may have a craving to play a little bit more, but like it doesn't feel like I'm taking too much time out of the day. When it comes to a JRPG, I want to get invested in the story. I want to take my time with the side quests. I want to do everything I can and make sure I'm not missing a thing. And like that's just how I get with JRPGs in general. So when I play a JRPG, I can't afford to play it for 1, maybe 2 hours. I can see myself getting invested 4 or 5 hours in a day, but having that kind of time can get very difficult, especially when I'm trying to oh, well, maybe I got to practice for a tournament at this time, or maybe I want to stream. What am I going to stream? Little things like that. So Tales of Arise is definitely taking a back seat, but I want to beat that game before I fully decide what is my game of the year. Because I've heard people say that's their game of the year, and I can't say for sure if it will be for me. But I have to play more to go from there. Aside from
I don't feel like I can, but you should drop everything and become a Mario Party streamer, and that way I can bully you as well.
No.
Why are you being stupid?
No.
Why are
You suck at Mario Party.
Dumbass.
Dog shit.
Hostile.
I can't wait to beat the piss out of you.
I'm gonna beat the brakes off of you on Friday.
If we get Bowser's Big Blast at a critical moment, I'm actually gonna jump off the fucking bridge tomorrow.
Oh,
that is in there, huh? Oh man, see that's gonna be another game that's gonna make me emotional because it has a bunch of Mario Party 1 stuff in it, and I really love Mario Party 1. So I feel like those two, Metroid and Mario Party, those are like the best things.
But, I mean, definitely. I don't know if I'll buy Mario Party myself. I think the games are extremely fun. I've just never really been like one to play them too often. If anything, I'll play them in a social setting with friends and such. That's a very good drinking game. It's a very good drinking game.
It depends on who you play with. I swear, Mario Party it can bring out the worst in you.
I know.
Yeah.
Trust. I've seen it. I've seen it happen. But
we almost smushed Rada from out of existence playing Mario Party 2 versus.
What do you mean?
We almost fought. Me and Ed almost fought to death in Mario Party 3. Nima almost died. There have been moments where people legitimately if you play with the right people, Mario Party is a fantastic game. But if you play with the wrong people, or something obscurely happens where you just see the most idiotic thing happen, and you're like, "Why is this happening?" And so it's like, "Oh, I just want to mess with you." Then it becomes personal, and then you're like, "Oh,
Oh, it's always personal. I do that to you all the time.
No.
Literally,
yeah." And that's why we don't win. That's why we don't win. That's why we don't win. That's exactly why we don't win.
The thing is that okay? So, what Black Eye Gamer is referring to? He's referring to this to our Florida Smash community when it comes to Mario Party, because everybody likes a little bit of Mario Party, but Florida has fiends to the point that they'll be putting money down and they'll make it their goal to hit you with a double bagel. Double bagel, if you don't know, that's 0 coins, 0 stars. 0 coins and 0 stars. That means you've been demolished. You did not get to play the game, and people make it their absolute goal to ensure a double bagel. That's why I refuse to play with them. I refuse.
Like, you don't want to.
If it's the last 10 turns, if it's the last 8 turns, and I notice that you're struggling, it becomes my mission. That's it's just.
I have a friend.
If you have less than 20 coins, I'm like, oh yeah, I'm fucking you up. I don't give a shit.
No. I have a friend that won't play with me because he said that I go try hard in Mario Party, and he's like, why would anybody ever do that? And it's just like, have you ever just seen despair? Like, have you ever just looked at a person and just heard their voice after you completely annihilate them, and you soak it all in? It feels great to be a bully.
And
you know
what?
it feels good.
It's okay.
Just suffering of others is the most amusing thing there is.
Rip out somebody's soul and just eat it. You know, that's what Mario Party is.
That's what Mario Party is, and you know what? I'm good. I don't want to be bullied. I don't want to.
No, you gotta join. That way, whenever the mashing minigame starts, and then we can destroy you. It'd be great. And it's also gonna have stick spinning minigames. I don't know why
the stick spin. Did you see the warning? The warning.
It's like, do not use the palm of your hand. It's just like, I am going to use the palm of my hand. Well, I'm not gonna use this because I want to preserve this. I don't want to break it.
I cannot afford to do it.
I want to use GameCube controller for it.
It should work.
It should work. And if it does work, then I'm definitely using the palm of my hand. I don't care.
I have a Mario Party controller specifically destroyed for that reason.
Yeah.
I've heard some from Morpheus, another South Florida local player. He has like a Hori Nintendo 64 controller, like something along those lines. So like I think I may get something like a Hori controller. I'd recommend getting like a Hori controller or like a controller you're prepared to beat the shit out of. A controller that's dedicated for that. But oh my gosh, Mario Party is definitely gonna be a fun one.
Literally, just buy the N64 controller and use it for its intended purpose of getting the glove and rotating.
That thing is breaking. I'm calling it.
No, I'm not gonna do that. That's a waste of $50.
That is a $50 investment right there.
Yeah, no.
Oh my gosh. But yeah, Mario Party coming. I know towards the end of the year. Shin Megami Tensei 5. Very interested in that. I haven't played any Shin Megami Tensei, but apparently I don't really need to. I can just go into it.
They're all separate, so that should be a good. Well, I'm not gonna say it should be a good starting point. I've never played it, but I mean, none of them are connected. It's sort of like Final Fantasy. You can just play any of them and get into it.
Yeah. And games have been so good as of recent, and I have very high expectations for like this is just 2021 games. There's a lot of killers coming out in 2022.
Mm-hmm. Kirby, I'm ready.
Yes, sir.
And I don't even want to think about that. I'm gonna die around that time too. Hopefully, it's like great. But
I know, man.
And then Breath of the Wild 2 is just gonna be another case where the world comes together and everybody's peaceful for like a day.
The world comes. Dude, Breath of the Wild 2, I'm taking time off for that game. I'm taking time off. I need to have the full day so I can enjoy it.
You're not the first person that I've heard say that, surprisingly enough. I feel like if everybody else is doing it, I might as well do it too. But I don't know.
Like,
That's gonna be good.
When we get announcement for that, I'm also taking time off.
I waited too long. That has been the game that I've been wanting. Ever since it got announced, I've been wishing. I've just been wishing, and I can't wait, man. I got to switch it up a bit, and we don't have to spend too much time on this. But I want to know because Nintendo dropped a little service. Oh, I believe it was yesterday actually. With Nintendo 64 Online, they brought it out. They finally did it. Our prayers are answered.
People are pissed.
So we thought.
People are pissed.
So, like, what do you mean by that?
All right, so
first question: have either of you actually played it before saying anything like that?
I don't care. All right, no. Hold on, wait.
No.
AJ, be quiet. You shut the fuck up. You're the last person to be saying that. The absolute last person on this planet to be saying anything like that. About like, did you play it before you talk shit, Mister? Oh, I don't like this because I saw. Yes, you. Everyone in Boogaloo can justify it. I'm sending you to court.
Send me to court. Give me one example where I did that.
One example
aside from Sonic Forces.
Oh, aside from Sonic Forces, Sonic Lost World. Go ahead. Say I was wrong. Go ahead. You didn't even buy the game. I was first one. I remember that day. Crystal clear. Die. You think I forgot? That's just one example. You can eat every part of my ass at the same time.
Anything that's not Sonic, tell me what I did it with. Anything that's not Sonic. All you got to say is die.
That's all you can think of. That's all I can think of. I'm gonna catch you later on. Don't worry. But like, I see. It's like, to me, it's mostly just a graphical thing. It's not more so the state of the issue. Like, yes, sure. Like, if your internet sucks and you pair with other people that their internet sucks, it's gonna suck. That's just a staple. I don't really care about that. People are talking about the graphical problem with the Ocarina of Time, which is basically the only game I've seen.
Mm-hmm.
But they're just saying like they're just saying like certain things like textures aren't loaded out all the way properly, and it looks like a beta version of the game.
Well, I hear that the textures are like, some of them are completely changed and updated. Like, it's a really strange situation. Not everybody is complaining. It's like some people play it and they're just like, oh man, I'm having a lot of fun. I think what's accentuating it is the price. It's like people see the price tag and then they get mad already, and then you see what you get, and then they're just, I feel like they're making it a bigger thing than it actually is.
I'm waiting. I agree with you.
I mean, I get that. I mean, for what it is, there's not a lot there. But from what I did play yesterday, nothing was inherently wrong except the fact that I couldn't change the control scheme. That was kind of dog ass. Like, I don't know. I just wanted to jump on the B button. I don't know. Like, that control scheme was strange. But I did enjoy, like, Sin and Punishment. That game is awesome. I love that. So I played a lot of that yesterday. But, like, you know, you can still do all the stuff you can do in Mario 64. I played some Yoshi Story. Like, I mean, I don't know. It didn't feel that.
No, it's not. It's not it's the service that's the problem. Because to me, in general, it's just like, with all the games that they announced and stuff like that, right? That you saw that they're going to be more of for the N64 version. I think to myself, wow, how many is it? 10, 12 games?
Well, there's actually, because I've seen this just on Twitter today, there's a data mine that showed that there is going to be more games. Mario Party was on the list. So, yeah, they said they're going to release like 30-something games. So, like, I feel like it'll be better eventually, but how long that'll exactly take...
Exactly. You don't know. You see the current one right now.
Yeah, that's what makes the service weird. Because like with SNES, it was just like
It was coming out snail's pace.
Yeah, like why we still don't even have everything that's good, like with Earthbound or Mario RPG, anything that's like really remotely good. Because the strangest thing to me is like on the Genesis collection, there's Castlevania Bloodlines, but we don't even have the other Castlevania games on the service.
Right.
And I get those are in the collection, but like Bloodlines is also in the collection, so I'm like, what is going on? And then Mario 64 is in 3D All Stars, and I was like, I don't know, there's some weird stuff.
It's weird, yeah. That's what kind of makes it kind of a deal breaker to me. Like, if they had, like, legitimate... I'm not kidding. If Mario Party was on that thing, I would not be complaining. But, like, yeah, play Mario Party.
No, that would be, like, the deal breaker right there. It's just like, all right, I get Mario Party online, and I can play the original. So that's fine.
That's
but,
fine, yeah.
But like, it's not on there yet.
$49.99, dude, for 10 games, and you don't know whether or not it's gonna come out at a snail's pace or not. Like, legitimately, like beforehand in the beginning when they were launching out the NES titles, they were coming out pretty steadily, and then it started to slow down. And then the SNES came out, and then they just like, here's 20 games, and then it just stopped. And I was like, hey, you're like two cavemen, you can play this from the SNES.
If it was monthly, it would be fine, but it wasn't.
But they don't
do it. It was like every 3 or 4, and then they were like, "Yeah, here's Bomboozle. You remember Bomboozle? Because I remember Bomboozle."
Bubble
Bobble. But if I remember correctly, when they rolled out NES Online and SNES Online, around those times, they also did bring out their like the NES, SNES Mini. So I think what their plan was always to do was to kind of like, hey, for the games that nobody really cares about, we can roll them out periodically, but like the games that people really want, like we'll put them on the NES and SNES Minis, which I already have my gripes about those being limited run things to begin with, but like all that aside. So funny thing is, when people were complaining about Nintendo 64 Online yesterday, I watched a lot of the things, and I do know that one, it's isolated. These are isolated incidents, and a lot of it is all dependent on internet connection with other people, etc. So I know that this is not necessarily going to be like this. Not necessarily means that this is the standard of what Nintendo 64 Online is. Now, what people have to understand as well is the fact that because it came out yesterday, there was probably a lot more volume using the Nintendo 64 online servers at the same time. So that could have easily affected performance, Performance.
Yeah, that's why I didn't really care about the online issue. It was just more so just like graphical and price is why people are kind of like topping off.
Graphical issues. Now, I can see that becoming a problem. Because like these are, wow, Kendall's cat. Kendall's cat is amazing. I love him. For graphical issues, like you don't want to feel. I guess it's an online service, but for a service in general, you don't want to feel like your game, like on your modern day console, you're having trouble like showing off a game properly. And like I know people have problems with like the input lag. Like people have problems with the input lag and such because a lot of these people were just like, hey, especially speedrunning communities too. They're like, we finally have access to these games that we've been wanting to get access to for a long time. And it's just, while it's here, it's not necessarily perfect. It's not perfect. It's not what we were expecting.
That sounds so weird with you saying that because it's like, if you speedrun a game, chances are you already have it. And then you have it on like the hard it would probably be intended to play it on.
This is true. But
I think the input lag thing is weird to me because I played some games and like I didn't feel anything like inherently wrong.
That varies between game to game.
Yeah, like I played like let's say Mario 64. Like you have to do a lot of stuff in that game for like execution. Like let's say you wanted to do some of the speedrunning tricks, like the bob-omb clip into like the cage with the Shane Chomp.
Yeah,
you can do that. I've seen some people doing BLJs. Like I've seen a bunch of like just people doing speedrunning stuff in that version of the game. And so it's like it's all still possible. I just don't know where the input lag stuff comes from. Like literally almost every huge issue that I've seen has been Ocarina of Time. Like people just angry about that game specifically. Like nobody's really talking about anything else. And the thing where you can't save your ghost in Mario Kart. But like aside from like that, I don't really see people complaining about very much of anything else.
I've been thinking about it a little bit more too, because like if I remember correctly, Nintendo 64 Online, that's a cloud service where you're constantly online. Not so much that you're able to download the games onto your system directly and have access to them. I think that's also been a weird. To me, that's a weird concept because like the Switch is not the most powerful system to begin with. It's not the most powerful system out of any of them. So to be utilizing a cloud service, it just kind of like it's kind of strange to me.
I don't think it is. You can play those games with that. I'm pretty sure I've done that before. If it was a cloud service, like what you're talking about is station now, and that's ass. That's liquid ass because that is literally just like
favorite.
That is being streamed to your console. So like, if your internet sucks, like that's
that
where
game's gonna suck.
Yeah, that's where the latency issues are gonna come in. Because I remember, of all the games, I was like, oh man, they got Sonic Unleashed. I was like, oh man, I can't wait to play. That was the worst thing I ever did in my entire life.
Mm-hmm.
It's like the game was just, it was bad. Like I couldn't play it. I don't think that this works that way. Like you can still play the games like just fine, even without being connected to the internet.
Mm-hmm. Well, I want to bring that up because like I think that like, wait, you can play the games without the internet, without the internet as well.
Yeah.
Okay, interesting.
Like it's on your Switch. It's an emulator. Like so, you don't need online to play. Like so if I was on like in the car, I could still play those games.
Mm-hmm. Okay, that's good to that's good to know. Okay, then never mind. I was about to bring up a whole different point, but nah. Okay.
Because if it was that way, then I agree with like latency and stuff like that. But like, no, everything's relatively fine, at least from my personal experience. Because I was playing Sin and Punishment, and that's a game that seems like you would need a lot of, hand-eye coordination or being able to do things quickly, and felt fine to me.
Okay.
But I'm also not an expert, so I can't really say much.
No, of course. I think if you played the original game, or if you have a lot of hours and you played it like the original game recently, then you may feel those input lag. You may feel more input lag than other people because you like have an expectation of what it should feel like. But basically,
that varies too. I'm sorry to cut you off, but it's like. Good. That varies because, like, let's just bring Mario World for the 5 millionth time. Playing Mario World on anything but a Super Nintendo feels different every single time. It's like Mario World feels different on the Wii, it feels different on Wii U, like anything else that you play it on, because it's not the native console. Mm-hmm. So, of course, like, for me specifically, it's not going to feel the same no matter what, because I'm not playing it the way that I'm used to playing it. So, like, when I'm playing it on new hardware, it's just like it's gonna feel different, no matter what. But that's just all I wanted to say.
No, yeah. So, yeah, I was prefacing it like it was going to be the Nintendo 64 online slander, but no. I'm kind of glad that it's here. I think it definitely. I would definitely like them to revise the price, which that would be something they do over time. Depending on how many people are like really adamant about not getting into it because of price. I definitely think it's a little bit more pricier than people think than it needs to be. But then again, I'm not a business expert, and I don't understand what goes into their infrastructure to make it work. Maybe the price that they're charging is like a very justified price, and I could be just talking shit. But who knows?
I had a really yeah. Go ahead, finish up.
Just gonna say it could just be Sega, like the third party stuff. Like maybe that's what's driving up the price. I don't know exactly, but I mean,
yeah,
that's possible.
It also comes with the expansion pack for Animal Crossing.
Yeah.
Remember that? So that's probably why too. I also saw this on a tweet too, which is really cool. This is like a big brain kind of a thing. And it's just like this guy was just basically saying, like, people are upset about the price, but we've basically already voted with our wallet with 3D All Stars and the Zelda Skyward Sword remake.
Absolutely
You know
correct.
and like 3D All Stars, even though it's the first time we've gotten Sunshine for a port, I realistically don't think it was worth $45
Not the
for both
slightest.
Sunshine and Galaxy. And Skyward Sword is still being sold on the Wii at local GameStop still, and on the Nintendo website for $20, and it's $60, and it's $10 more than what it originally came out for HD port. The HD port does some really good stuff, not gonna lie, but it's not worth $60. But we still bought that alongside with the squishy amiibo that came out with it as well. So Nintendo's just like, our fans are willing to purchase anything, even if it's cardboard. And it's the truth, because that's exactly what happened. Nintendo could sell cardboard if they wanted to, and people would buy it, and that was a labo.
People don't realize it, but like, even as much as people disagree with what Nintendo does, Nintendo knows how to hit that nostalgia market very well, and knows how to sell their games. There's a reason they've been one of the most profitable businesses in all of Japan for the past 2 years. Like they're doing it right. They're doing it right. We may not necessarily agree with it, but they're at least as a business, they know what they're doing.
Yeah, but they could faulty though at any point in time. You see, yes. I hate Microsoft. I really do. I dislike Microsoft as a company as a whole more than Nintendo actually. Wow. But their Xbox Game Pass, their Microsoft Game Pass, that allows you to play any previous games that came out on the Xbox, on your PC, and on your console for a justifiable price. Insane, ridiculous. And it's beaten out, and like people can make that comparison and easily be like, why should I play stupid Nintendo games when I could play Banjo-Kazooie and Banjo-Tooie and all the Halo games and even Prestige 3? Like why? Like it's something like that where it's just like, dang, they really pulled it off, and it's totally justifiable and doable too. But other companies won't do it. It's kind of like the internet thing. Like the internet at first was free, but then Microsoft was just like, get charged. And then something was like, all right, I'm stupid. I want to follow suit now. And Nintendo didn't do it for years. They didn't do it for the Wii, and they didn't do it for the Wii U. And now for the Switch, you're just like, all right, I guess we can make a little bit of money off of this, even though we know it's free possible. And now they jacked up the price. It's like, it's not because, they're an evil, greedy company. It's like, they're seeing the statistics of what lengths people can go to buy certain things. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? And
all they really have to do is provide games. Like,
yeah,
sort of like how
it should be easy.
It's like how you were like, oh man, I don't want to get it yet because there's not really a lot of games on there. And I think that's justified because it's like, imagine if everything that they showed off in the Direct, like Banjo-Kazooie, Paper Mario, Majora's Mask, like that stuff's not there. So just imagine if all of that was released at launch, then it would be worth it. But the games that we got, while they are good, it's like, I don't want to spend extra money for that.
You never know. Never know. It could be 3 months. It could be a quarter of a year through the system, through that life cycle before you get like 5 more games, and then another quarter of the year to get 5 more games. I'd be like, nah, bro. I don't think that's kind of worth it. It's kind of ass, which is something that I think that they would do too, because it's just like, it's not the top of their priority. If and like other people in general just think of that Nintendo's just a gaming company. It's like Nintendo's expanded more than just a gaming company now, especially in Japan. They got the Universal traction going on. They just lost fucking $8 million to the Mickey keychain. They're making the Mario movie. They're expanding across like different apps with the Pikmin thing. Nintendo's doing the bold thing for branching out to different platforms that aren't gaming, that like that touch real life stuff. That's pretty cool. I like that about them. But at the same time, however, do the easy thing, which is just emulating games and putting it on your system, because you can definitely do that. Because obviously, it's not something that you choose not to do. You're just afraid about the backlash. why Mario 64? Could you imagine if there was no Mario 64 on that thing? People would be pissed.
Yeah.
But there's Mario 64 on there, and guess what? People are pissed because they're just like, why would I have to buy 3D All-Stars when I could easily play Mario 64 on my thing?
But it's not about just Mario 64. It's like people like Sunshine and Galaxy. People
I know.
shut up about those games. So it's like, I don't feel like it goes both ways. It's like Nintendo is not inherently the best when it comes to the business decisions, but the fans are also rabid and very dumb. It's like people just don't know what they want a lot of the time.
You don't want, yeah, that's most people.
And I feel
Once
like
again,
a lot of these decisions are made worse by the fact that people act so dumb when it comes to them. Because it's like they sort of, and this doesn't work for everybody, but they give you a way to break the system when it comes to the online, and that's having friends. Because if you do the family plan, suddenly none of that exists. It's like, realistically, the only thing I did was send my friend $5, and then I had N64 online. Because there's so many of us on the plan that it's just like, you know, I didn't have to pay $50. It's like, I know a lot of people are complaining about it, but it's just like, gave my man $5, and then I had everything. And they lose money when you do that. The only thing is, you got to have the friends to do it. So if it's just you, then yeah, you're going to be paying $50. But if you have like a bunch of friends and you're all just come together, get on that plan, like you can definitely just not have to spend that much money on online, and you still sort of enjoy it for what it is, because it's not the best. But at least I only paid like $5 for it as opposed to like $50.
Yeah.
So
good point, Quante. Really good point, actually.
No, absolutely.
The friend option.
Hey.
Nah, but in any case, although people have their gripes about it, I do think it's good that we have Nintendo 64 games at least on the console. It's a very good step. A lot of people have been wanting at least some form of way to play these games for a long time, and we always talk about it. We always talk about game emulation here, but like, it's just refreshing to see some of these games here, or some games that we know are going to come in the future at least being available. And like, I hope I don't know if it'll make a difference, but I really do hope the people at Nintendo are looking at this like, hey, so that nostalgia market we're very good at capturing, let's keep doing that. Yeah, we can get new players in. New players are the most important, but we still got to hit that nostalgia market. That's where we thrive. Hit that market, get them the games that they want. Bring out those games that have been with us for so long that we haven't been able to bring out. Give it to them, and sure enough, we may reap the benefit. We as a company may reap the benefits. I hope they look at it like that, but you have to wait and see. Nintendo 64 Online is a very good concept, but we got to see how it evolves over time, what they do to make it better, how it goes with them rolling out new games over time. Because I've seen services like this become worse, where like they roll out new stuff, but like the service in general just becomes like not as functional and stuff like that. So we gotta wait and see, you know.
I think pretty much when they release Mario Party, it'll be worth it. 100%. I don't even care if it's Mario Party. I play one online. I don't care, but I mean, I think it'll be worth it. It's just not going to be worth it until because the N64 is a multiplayer machine. So once they get those multiplayer games out there and people play them online, then I think that it'll be worth the price.
I think it'll be worth the price. Honestly, it'll blow my mind, because now that they have the Sora and Smash, right? It'll blow my mind. Isn't that right now? It'll blow my mind, our mind, that they put GoldenEye on there. If they put GoldenEye on there, I'm gonna lose my shit.
That would be
because me personally, like being one of those kids that grew up in that era, going over to people's house to play N64, I didn't play GoldenEye at all. Like, I never played it before, and like I still haven't, and I want to play it on the N64 before I decide to go over to Evil Black Eye Gamer's a cave and play it at his house and emulate it there. But it's just something. It's just like one of those games. Just like, yeah, man, like, because they don't preserve it, or there's no realistic ways, because all the licenses are chained together between James Bond and Rare and Nintendo. realistically, Rare and Nintendo are pretty cool now, but the James Bond license is just like, I'm old.
It's gonna be very difficult for them to even get those rights.
Perfect Dark could be on there. The funny thing is that I own both of those games on my N64, and I've never played them. They've just been on a shelf. I should probably play them.
I've heard they're pretty good.
I've heard GoldenEye's pretty good. I've seen people play GoldenEye. It's like it's one of those games, just like that like I've heard multiplayer, or like people like have stories about like I used to play GoldenEye at my friend's house, or like being in college and like at FAU we play like Smash Brothers 64 in the locker room, and like they'd be like, "Oh, you got GoldenEye?" And I'd be like, "I don't got GoldenEye, dude." And like someone would bring it, or like no one would bring it. Because Anthony Bennett was the one that brought his N64 in there. He had Kirby 64 and a bunch of other stuff too, but like GoldenEye. I was like, damn, I'd like to play GoldenEye because GoldenEye was the shit. And so like, it's in my opinion, dude, like with Nintendo, what they're doing in general with their service. My thing is, even though we're like almost like 5 years into the console's life cycle, we're almost like 5 years into the console's life cycle.
Mm-hmm.
I'm a firm believer, and I'm a firm sayer of like better late than never. Better late than never. Because you never know whether or not they would ever do something like that, like again. You know what I mean? Like, and then like the OLED came out. Obviously, people have been saying a lot of great things about the OLED being a lot more powerful and having more space, screen being wider. That system came out, and I missed my chance to buy it, but I'm probably gonna get it just so that I could experiment with my old console or the old Switch.
That's my main reason for getting it.
Experiment. What do you mean by that, Doctor Black Guy Gamer? Since you're a doctor, are you gonna run some experiments on your Switch?
Yeah, I'm gonna mod my Switch. Yeah, Jesus, I'm gonna brick it, and I'm gonna put some mod. I'm gonna mod it.
Shush! Shush! The Nintendo ninjas are listening. All right.
John Nintendo.
John Nintendo.
Doug Bowser's gonna be in a fucking body armor suit.
You're getting suplexed by Doug Bowser.
Doug Bowser actually beat the shit out of me.
Yeah, the Switch OLEDs Switch OLEDs, like it just came out. With them rolling out this service, I feel like they're just like I'm getting more and more shades of them. Like, hey, the Switch is gonna be this huge cruise that's not gonna end for a long time. So we're gonna be pumping as much as we can to make sure that we can keep the Switch concept running for a very, very long time. That is,
man.
Yeah, I don't see them. I don't see them
slowing down.
I don't see them slowing down. I don't see them making huge. I actually don't even see them bringing out a whole new console. I just think they're gonna be saying, you know what? See what we did with the Switch? Let's upgrade that incrementally. But that is a conversation for definitely another time. Everybody, it's been a good episode. Black Eye Gamer, please tell us, where can the people find you if they want to hear more about Black Eye Gamer? They want to see what you're cooking up. Where can they find you?
You can find me on Twitter at Dr. Black Guy Gamer, where I tweet a bunch of nonsense, and also going to start streaming on YouTube and Twitch at the same time. Not at the same time, probably maybe periodically to see if I can get more traction. You can check me out on YouTube at Black Guy Gamer, and you can also check me out on Twitter at The Black Guy Gamer. And speaking of streaming, do you like clips from Twitch, Smash Brothers? Check out Smash Micro Clips, where I upload 3 to 5 micro clips a day. That's a lot of micro clips. And you'll see some hypest moments in tournaments from across the world. Tournaments and weeklies, monthlies, super majors, 30-second clips. Look, do you know what a micro clip is? I bet you don't. That's why you're stupid. Don't worry, I'll tell you what a micro clip is. So look, it's instant action, instant information, infinite pop-offs. You'll be able to see them in 30-second short bursts. And you won't even have to worry about wondering if your attention span is gone, because you already watched the micro clip. Check it out. It's lots of fun.
You heard it here, folks. Check it out. Smash Micro Clips. Please show some love to that. And then, Lore Master King Kawante. Where can they find you, bro?
Well, I got sucked back into streaming again. So, I have been streaming lately Donkey Kong again because I made a bet, and I was like, man, if Sora gets in Smash, I will 100% Donkey Kong 64.
Yeah, talk to him.
And of course, he got in Smash. I didn't think that was going to happen, but it happened. So now my soul is gone forever until I 100% that game. So you can catch me over at twitch.tv/loremaster95. I don't have a set schedule for it. I kind of just do it whatever. But if you follow my Twitter at loremaster95, you can just catch when I post that I'm going to stream. And you can watch me suffer because that game is a work of art in multiple ways.
Absolutely. That is Lord Master 95, LOR Master 95. Check him out. And you can find me. You got me on Twitter, twitter.com/ChocoTacoFGC. I've gotten back into streaming. I've said it a couple episodes before that I'm going to get back, and we're back in it. You can find me on Twitch, on twitch.tv/ChocoTacoFGC. And you can support the channel. You can support the Gamers Grind podcast on youtube.com. We are the Gamers Grind. We do this podcast every week. We had a couple weeks where we kind of missed, Don't worry about that. Every week we come together. We're always talking. We're always trying to make this a little bit better. So definitely, if y'all got any feedback, please drop them in the comments. We talked a lot about Metroid Dread today. Please share with us. Did you like the game? If so, what'd you love about it? We'd love to hear it. And if you really do like the video, please like or subscribe. If anything, it doesn't really cost you. But this has been the Gamers Grind, episode 11 or 12. You guys have a wonderful rest of your nights, and we'll see you guys next time when the grind continues.
Buy and play Metroid.
Oh my God!